Malta, the island of Malta. It's a place that I've been dreaming about sailing to for quite a long time. The sail straight to Malta from Kefalonia is 350 miles. And so that ends up being just over 3 days worth of sailing. You can do it single-handed, but it is much better to have a crew. So that is why I needed Willem and Jacob. I met Willem through the internet via a website for finding crew. He agreed to come out to Patras and help us sail to Malta. Willem is Canadian, he's 2 years younger than me. He was in Spain wanting to cross the Atlantic. That fell through, and so he took the opportunity to come and have an adventure and sail to Malta, gain some experience. All the sailing that he has done was on the Great Lakes. The difference between a sea and a lake as far as swell is significant. Real quick, so we're about to our first sail, 60 miles. How do you feel?
Pretty good. Looking forward to it. Hoping not to get seasick as it's the first time on blue water, but hope for the best.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right because we should be on the lee side of a shore,
okay.
And it shouldn't be a whole lot of waves. Also, it's pretty calm right now.
Yeah, there's not a hell of a lot. It was going earlier, you could hear the wind generator, but for now it should be good.
We sailed to Kefalonia in 2 sails because the straight shot is about 60-something miles. How's it feeling?
Pretty good.
Our first sail was to a bay right next to the island Nissos Oxia. It's good to have a few small sails before doing a big sail. The crew gets orientated to being on the water, and then if they get seasick, it's not as bad as it would be. The next day, we sailed to Euphemia, which I've been to before. It's a great little bay. It's quite well protected. Nice little village. Willem and I hung out in that village for a couple days, went for a hike, met a baby goat. It is such a baby that it still has its umbilical cord.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. Its shepherd is over there. We were just walking up this road, and I think we scared his goats and sheep away. Oops. We hung out there for some days waiting for Jacob Strickland to come meet up with us.
I'm here, guys. Made it. Good stuff. Good to be here.
Absolutely.
Glad I'm here.
I've known Jacob since I was 6 years old. We went to the same elementary school. We'd play after school. We got into all sorts of mayhem as kids. I always considered him like crazier than I am. So when it came down to I really need somebody to help me out, I knew Jacob would come through. Hung out in that village for a couple days, did some work on the boat, going into the water to scrape the hull, so hopefully we can get a couple knots out of it, of speed, because we've got 330 miles to go. Arianrhod sat in the water for 2 months in the Black Sea. The water in the Black Sea is dirty. It is dirty, and so things grow a lot faster. Under full throttle with a clean hull, we can hit 7 knots, pretty easy. When we first started sailing in Bulgaria, full throttle, 4 knots. Did a preliminary scrape in the Black Sea, but then I was thinking like the sail from Kefalonia to Malta is 350 miles, and if we could potentially get another knot of speed, it would save us literally like 12 hours.
Cold, you could give me this one. That's good.
I have a wetsuit and I have a top for visitors. And so Willem and Jacob, both, like, mad respect to them, went swimming for about 10 minutes each and did some scraping in the frigid water. And then I had my wetsuit on and I did the rest of it.
How you doing? Good.
There's a couple standard sayings. The 2 happiest days of a sailor's life is the day they buy their boat and the day they sell their boat. I disagree with that. And that a boat is a hole in the ocean that you throw money into. That one I might agree with. There's always things to fix. I bought this boat quite cheap, which was great because it's allowed what's happened to happen. But there were lots of things that were not particularly up to spec. We had to do a lot of that. So I pretty much got the boat almost to like ship shape to now it's just maintenance, like maintain everything and then fix things as they break, opposed to fixing the compiling of jobs You know, learning how to maintain a boat teaches you a lot about life in regards to like self-maintenance and whatnot, of like everything has to be maintained. Everything is moving into a state of decay. A boat, it is just very apparent and right in your face. And so maybe in your life with your own physical body, you can ignore it because the effects compound over 20 years instead of over a week or a month. But with a boat, it is right there. And so it forces you to deal with it and fix it and maintain it and keep it healthy. And that then spills over into the rest of your life to some degree. Taking care of things in general is satisfying, right? Like whether that's a pet, whether that's a plant, whether that's a person, whether that's your things, everybody feels better when they take care of things. It takes effort and it takes time, and sometimes you don't have one of those ingredients or you don't have both of them, then things can go wrong. When you keep up on the maintenance, that prevents things from breaking and prevents greater problems, but it also adds the peace of mind of knowing that you've been doing things, being responsible. I mean, that's one of the main things of responsibility, is like properly maintaining things. It definitely should not be looked at as an annoyance, because most of life is maintenance. And so if you find it annoying, then you're going to be annoyed your whole life.
Cool.
And then we made the sail around the island of Kefalonia.
Great. And then undo it from there and bring it back to the cockpit. You're gonna give a shove from right there. Just a little bit more forward. You ready?
It was Jacob's first sail and Willem's third sail with me.
Beautiful.
We did our first sail from Euphemia to Poros. We did a couple man overboard drills, threw a life-saving device out into the water and did some practice and picked that up under sail. I grew up in Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scout motto is be prepared. To actually be prepared takes a lot of effort and a lot of forethought.
All right, prepare to tack. As soon as the sail starts to luff, you'll just haul in like crazy, and then keep an eye kind of still on the sail. And once it's about halfway in, you can stop and start easing it out gently.
Before doing something as intense as a 3-day sail, it's very important to at least have some time operating together as a crew.
Caught up on something? Yeah.
It's gonna make me more comfortable knowing what each person is actually capable of, how they respond to this and that, and then they know, okay, this is what this entails, this is what this entails, and then they're just more familiar with it.
Yeah, you good?
If you get caught and you're completely unprepared, things can go really bad. It could make a problem that could have easily been avoided into a catastrophe just by not being prepared. Anytime I have new crew on board, it's very important to at least give them some sort of preparation into what we're about to do.
All right, haul in on the... Now take a look up the boat. If it's past the boom, then you can start hauling in and let it out more.
Sailing has a decent amount of risk. The higher the risk, the more preparedness that is necessary. And so you want to instill that into yourself through practice. You never rise to the standards you wish you had when things get really intense. You always default down to how you've been doing it all the time. And so that's why it's really important to practice, so that when situations get really tense, you're prepared. Your autonomic nervous system can take over and execute whatever needs to be done properly without fumbling about and without being completely disoriented. Your body just takes over for you. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're sure to catch next week's episode when we sail to Malta. Big love. Wash your hands.